What is up, guys? I'm Envy and welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be going over some palettes that I almost bought in 2021 and talking way too much. So if that is something that you're interested in, keep on watching. I know that you're gonna ask, isn't this just 10 palettes I still pine over 2.0? And to that I say yes, but also no, because I've added the little caveat for myself that I am limiting myself to palettes that just released this year, and also no reuses from that video, just because that's way too easy and yada yada yada. But anyway, this video is inspired by the collaboration between Theresa is Dead and Angelica. I'll have their videos linked down below, so yeah, let's get right into it. I'm also still enjoying hats. You cannot stop me. All right, so I have the glasses on because I'm going to be reading. I know, very, very professional, but yeah. Anyway, first palette is the Danessa Myricks Lightworks Volume 3 palette. It is the most expensive one, although some of these are ridiculously expensive for no reason. But yeah, this palette is $125. Oh my goodness. This palette I've gone over this like 3 times and I can't memorize it. So this palette comes with 1 pressed glitter, 2 duochrome gels, 2 powder to cream formulas, 5 multi-chrome pigments, and 4 holographic powders. And it is so pretty, and I'm kind of on like a pressed glitter and duochrome just like kick right now. Just give me all of them. But it is so expensive. But I've also heard amazing things about Danessa Myricks' formula. I look at it and I think I want it, I need it, I'm going to have it, and then I add it to my cart and I see that my cart is $125 plus California taxes, and I'm like, nar. I just want it because it's pretty to me, and since like it's limited edition, it seems exclusive, so I think, oh, I'll never be able to get these duochromes anywhere ever again, when I totally will. Duochromes are an amazing and expensive and like good formula, but there are only so many colors that we can see, so there are only so many colors that other colors can shift to. So there is like a limited range in the grand scheme of things, and I just, I want it, but I don't, I want it, but I don't, I need it, but I don't. Next. All right, next up is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Primrose palette that retails for $55, and I know what you're gonna say, this was in an anti-haul. It was, because it's boring and because I hate when there are face products in eyeshadow palettes. But gosh darn it, I've heard amazing things about this formula. I've heard, and the packaging is really pretty, and I've heard that it's back to like the old Anastasia, you know, before, you know, before the Anastasia boom of 2019. Everything was great, and it feels like in 2021 they finally kind of have gotten back to that. They had a great summer collection with the cream bronzers, cream blushes. They had a great spring collection with the like, I do feel kind of weird because there were like only 3 face palettes, but those only 3 face palettes did go to like a big range of people, I guess. You know, you had a really light one, you had a really dark one, and then you had a middle one. It wasn't like 3 shades of beige. So, and I don't hear bad things about Anastasia's quality the way you hear things about the sub-brand Norvina's quality, and I don't need it. But I did briefly add it to my cart on Ulta's 5 times the points on eyeshadow day, and I just looked at it because it fits all my boxes, but I know I already have these I know I already have these colors in my Soft Glam and Modern Renaissance palette. You can't look at this palette. I need to be angled another way, that way you can see it. You can't look at this palette and tell me that I don't already have it. But I love Anastasia Beverly Hills, and 2019 was just a really bad thing to happen to them. So I'm happy that they're bouncing back. It's so basic, but it's so pretty and I want it. But also it's a holiday palette. So that means that it is definitely going on sale after Christmas. And then I don't know what I'll do. Next is the BPerfect Cosmetics and Stacie Marie collaboration. I believe it's their 4th one. It is the Antidote palette, and it is $55.95. So there are 45 shadows ranging from mauves to greens and oranges, and as much as I dunk on Morphe for their 35 pan palettes or 38 or 9 pan palettes, whatever it is, I would be a hypocrite if I bought this, but it is very pretty. I think I'm very attracted to mauves, but mauves do not work on me. But I look at this palette and I see like the greens on one side to like the mauves and oranges on another, and I think that it looks like if you were to flip it like a bouquet of flowers, and I love that. I don't know why I think that, but I do, and I want it. I know that if I get it, I will be too overwhelmed with the amount of shades, and I'm in a project pan. Like, I need to not buy so much eyeshadows all at once, but like, I know that if I get it, going back to being overwhelmed, I'll just end up resorting to like the same 5 shades or whatever I used to make an eye look, and then all of my money and all of the other shadows will just be dead in the water. So as pretty as it is, and as much as I like looking at it, I need to just look at it. Just get like a display piece that has all those colors, and then I'll be like, great. Next is the Colourpop Lush Life palette, which is $18. It's a 12 pan eyeshadow palette that has like a very vibrant color story, and I've also heard such amazing things about it from Karen Harris and Angelica that I look at it and I'm just like, I don't need it, but I've heard it's that good Colourpop formula, and I don't know why that like gets to me. Like, if I want blues, I have the James Charles palette back there, and I want to get rid of the James Charles palette. So I need to use a Jimmy Charlie palette. That way I can't justify myself buying this because I have a rainbow palette. I have a couple of rainbow palettes. I don't need this. But I did add it to my cart on my Colourpop Black Friday order just because I've heard so many good things, and then I saw the price of my cart, and so I took it away. But I do also kind of feel like this falls into that Colourpop pitfall where it's like a very vibrant color story, but then the first like row and a half is like neutrals. But I do kind of talk my way out of it because the orange goes very well with like the brown tones in like that one row. And the third shade is kind of like a pukey green shimmer where it looks like it's neutral, but with a little bit of like a green shift, and that's interesting. It's not like life-changing or anything that I don't already have. So I guess my only issues are with like the beige and then the beige shimmer. So in my opinion, they just seem out of place, but this is literally me like nitpicking not needing this palette because it is very pretty. I've heard the formula is very good, and two creators that I could name off the top of my head, although this looks like 4 anyway, said excellent things about it, so I'm just like, yes, gimme. But I haven't bought it, I probably won't. And Next is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension Eyeshadow Palette, and it retails for $68. And this palette is beautiful. The swatches are stunning, and I've heard amazing things about Patrick Ta's formula in this and just his brand in general. And once again, I'm a sucker for nudes and a sucker for good packaging, and I also added this to my cart during the Sephora VIB sale, but decided against it. I don't really have a lot to say because it is kind of like basic, but also there's 2 like cream to powder eyeshadow formulas in there, and I don't really like those in eyeshadows. I love my cream to powder foundation, but formula wise, I probably wouldn't use those 2 shades very often, so there's like 2 out of the 10 or 12 shades that I wouldn't use. But I'm a sucker for nudes, sucker for golds, and that is very, very pretty. It's a very pretty palette, and the marketing on it was amazing, but it is not $70 pretty. Next is the Addams Family and Hipdot Spells and Hexes collaboration palette. It is $25. 24? It's $24. $24. Yeah, that extra dollar really goes a long way. And let me start off by saying that I love the Addams family, and I will die angry at the fact that I never played Morticia in my high school's rendition of the Addams Family musical, but it's fine. This is a makeup video, not a trauma dump. Moving on, it's fine. It's fine, I'm fine. I'm great. Anyway, this is a small, concise palette that I feel encompasses a lot of the colors that are reminiscent in the Addams family, that being black, gray, white, red, maybe a little bit of mauve for like the cheeks or whatever, but this palette they could have made this like overzealous. They could have made this into like the Jeffree Star Cremated palette where it's like all of these black and white tones and then a pop of red and a pop of whatever, but they didn't. They made it like a black nude, a black shimmer, a white nude, a white shimmer, a red, a beige, a nude shimmer, or excuse me, nude, a mauve shimmer, and a mauve matte. I forgot the word even though I just said it like 3 times over. Anyway, I wouldn't buy this if it wasn't the Addams Family branding. And I know that this is going to be surprising to a lot of you, but I have learned, I have the capacity to, that I don't need every property that I recognize as like products. I learned that after I'm looking at it right now on the floor and just staring at it, but after the Colourpop and Powerpuff Girl collaboration that I have not touched, I have learned that I need to, I don't owe a property any of my money. They don't deserve any of my money because they created something that I enjoy. So I don't need it, you know? Again, like I would not buy this if it wasn't Addams Family marketing. I'm gonna be honest, I already have a black and white palette. I have the Jeffree Star Cremated palette. I do not need it, so I'm not going to buy it. But boy, oh boy, did they really get me with like that limited edition pin. If you buy the full like casket looking, or no, not casket, like window looking box, I looked at it while I was writing this down and I was just like, oh, but I'm not gonna use a black and a gray lipstick. I'm not gonna use this palette. I don't need to buy the full collection just to get a little pin to prove that I'm the really special Addams Family fan. Oh my God, you know, I don't need it and I'm not gonna buy it. Make me stop thinking about this, thank you. Next is the Melt Brunette palette, and let me just start off by saying that I am always tempted by Melt's color stories. I'm always tempted by their concepts, and I don't say that as like they are weed enthusiasts, and I am a weed enthusiast, so I'm phrasing that in the most conservative Republican way ever. I don't smoke, so I don't want these palettes because haha 420 weed number. I want these palettes because I like greens and oranges and browns. Refer to like 2 palettes ago, Patrick Ta, and like just others that I'm going to talk about in general. But I'm scared to buy things from them at launch because they are like my sweet baby Colourpop, where they have a good formula and a bad formula. So I never want to buy something at launch just in case it's that bad formula. In an industry like this, where multiple things are launched every day that get put on Trendmood or get put like anywhere, any makeup news, radar, whatever site, Instagram page, whatever, buying things at launch is 90% of whenever I buy my makeup. So if it doesn't grab my attention then, I might still think about it and pick it up like later on. But with Melt, typically I have to wait for like reviews. And even then it's like, by then I talk myself out of it. Like the Blueprint palette, I have nudes and blues. This palette, I have nudes. And also the Maryjane palette that they came out with earlier this year, I really liked that. I was really, really drawn to that palette and that like collection. Oh my God, the glitter gels. But I wanted to see what people said about the formula, and then whenever, you know, the news that the formula was good came out, it had already sold out. So and then I was able to talk myself out of it because I have Jeffree Star Cremated palette, which is a lot of like pale nudes, grays, blacks, whatever. So I guess I want it, but I don't need it, so I'm not gonna buy it. Which is what all of this video is, you know? Also, Melt is so expensive to have the hit or miss formula that it has. Like, I get angry at Colourpop, but if I buy something that's like $50 and it has the hit or miss formula, that's a no. All right, last and certainly not least is the Colourpop Limoncello collection. Yes, I know that this video is just about palettes and I just said the Limoncello collection, but hear me out. Palettes are like 90% of the collection for me anyway. This palette I feel would have been everything if Colourpop had a different marketing strategy when they do. And by what that means, Colourpop releases way too much, and they have stated that like, we don't want people collecting our products, we just widely release and then people pick up what they want, and that's fine, whatever. But if they had a more concise release schedule, I feel like the Limoncello palette and the Limoncello collection could have been like this year's Sweet Talk. What 2018 Sweet Talk for that, or 2017, 2018, whatever Sweet Talk for them was, could have been this year with Limoncello. But half the palette is nudes, and they have so many nudes across so many palettes, you know? Whenever they released the Honey Yellow palette, people were dying for yellows, but now yellows have become such a trend, especially in Colourpop's own repertoire, that the mustardy, cool, sunshiny yellow, mustardy and sunshiny are kind of opposites. That was an oxymoron. Anyway, that yellow, it's been done by them, especially. Everything in this palette they've already done, so it doesn't feel as special. But my god, I've heard so many good things about the packaging. I've heard so many good things about the formula. I meant to say I've heard so many good things about the formula. I can see the packaging. I'm looking at it with my own eyes. It's good. This packaging is everything for me. I like the Luxe liquid lipsticks are like my colors, but I feel like they already have them, and I already have them in other brands. The brushes also match with the vibes, and this whole palette, I feel, could have been so, this whole collection, I feel, could have been so good if it were just its own, if it were given time, if it were given space to breathe. Because, like, that's the thing I've mentioned previously, Anastasia Beverly Hills 2019, all that hubbub, they had so many collabs and so many palettes, and it never felt like anything had its chance to breathe. So I feel like that's with Colourpop too, but like this palette I feel could have been like one of the palettes of 2021 if it were just given a chance to breathe like previously. You know, if the way they like launched palettes for years had been like this, you know? They had a chance whenever 2020 stopped production on a lot of things to totally rework their model, and then I feel like this could have been like one of their standout launches. But no, whenever things were able to get up and moving again, they just went right back to it, not really listening to people's concerns about how the longevity of the brand or the waste that the brand creates. They didn't listen to any of that, and I feel like the launches have continued to suffer because of it. I think Colourpop needs to take a step back and breathe, and then I think they might have a much bigger resurgence, kind of like what Anastasia Beverly Hills is having. A lot of people did not get the Primrose palette, myself included, Theresa included, Angelica included, because we felt like we had it already, and if it wasn't, and if they just took that, I feel like I'm just talking in a circle. If they took a step back and let their brand breathe a little bit and let the launches cool a little bit, I think everything would be great. But they just haven't. They've had how many Christmas launches? They had the Rudolph collaboration, the Roaring Twenties collaboration, which is the Rolling Twenties collection, which is supposed to be their New Year's collection, and now they're feeling bubbly, feeling tipsy thing collection. That's another Christmas, holiday, New Year's collection. Halloween, they had 2 collaboration palettes. They had the Hocus Pocus and the Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, stop, breathe. Don't release as many products and let your other products shine. I know that in this day and age of social media with the constant news cycle, things will fall off pretty quickly, but like if you create something that is so good that people like Sweet Talk, if you can have another Sweet Talk palette, which I felt this could have been, I know that I've already said that, that would be amazing for you, but you have to let it breathe. You have to let it shine. You can't have people order something and by the time they get their orders in, already have something else announced, because that's not how YouTubers are going to talk about anything, which is how like 90% of influencer marketing works. It just makes smaller influencers who don't get PR not want to buy or review your products, because it's just going to be replaced by something else. The new thing will be something else before we even get our orders in. And sadly, I say sadly, but influencer marketing is turning more towards the micro influencer, the people with like 50,000, like 500,000 subscribers. I know that that seems like a whole lot because it is, and less, you know? I feel like Colourpop is and has been having their 2019 Anastasia Beverly Hills moment, and I'm very disappointed that whenever production on a lot of things shut down last year, they didn't take that opportunity to just, again, breathe, you know, and just make good products at a less rate, and just, yeah, I love Colourpop, but and I felt like this collection could have been everything, but what's the point when I already have it 10 times over? You know? Whew, that was a tangent. I felt like that was like 10 minutes of me talking, but yeah, that's all that I have to talk about today. Thank goodness. But thank everybody so much for watching. Let me know down below what products you really wanted to buy but didn't get around to for whatever reason. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.